Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to the Week 8 edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF, Michael Fletcher. We are maybe awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him with us for our special Tuesday night edition of Ridiculously Raw. We'll have more on that at the end of our show here tonight. Week 8 of the NFL season. It started this past Thursday night, and it started with the game of the week, quite frankly. The Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium, formerly University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale. And that the game lived up to the hype and then some. Green Bay winning it 24-21. A game-ending interception by Raul Douglas. And what a game it was. And with that, we are now guaranteed that there will be no undefeated teams in the NFL in 2021. So big win for Green Bay, 7 in a row for them, and we'll address. Actually, I can get it right now. Next week, both teams will be in action next week. Green Bay's got another big one next week. Green Bay will be going to Arrowhead to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. That's next Sunday afternoon. And in that same window, ironically, in that 4:25 window on Fox next week, the Arizona Cardinals will be heading to Levi's Stadium to take on the San Francisco 49ers. So both teams are 7-1. Who knows? If we get them again in the playoffs, regardless of what round it is, sign me up. And I know MF will feel the same way. So with that, let's get into the other order of business before we start in week 8, the bye weeks. Only 2 byes for this week. And they're the 2 teams that kicked off this latest season of Monday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens and the Las Vegas Raiders. They're on bye this week. So with that, let's start it off with our first game of the week. It'll be over on Fox, and it'll be the Carolina Panthers squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons from Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, over on Fox. And on the call for that one will be Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and Laura Oakman. And Atlanta opening up as a 3-point favorite. Atlanta leads the all-time series 33-19. Both teams split last year, but they won on the road. So Carolina won in Atlanta last year, 23-16. Atlanta last beat Carolina at home in 2019, and that was a 40-20 beatdown. So with that, we will get into our first game of the week here in week number 8. You know how we do it: the what to watch for, the bold prediction, the stat to know, fantasy, betting nugget, the FPI percentage, and of course the score prediction. And what to watch for here: Panthers quarterback Sam Darnold has thrown interceptions in 4 straight games. And after not picking off a pass in the season's first 4 weeks, Atlanta has intercepted passes in its past 2 games. Add in that Carolina has allowed 25 or more points in 3 of its last 4 games, and Atlanta has scored 25 or more in 4 of its last 5 games. And there's a case for a potential big day for the Falcons. Bold prediction: the Falcons will attack with a wide zone rushing attack, which Carolina has been vulnerable to, and finish with a season-high 135 yards on the ground instead of a big play-action day for quarterback Matt Ryan. Dallas had 245 yards, and Minnesota posted 198 with that scheme. Stat to know: Falcons rookie tight end Kyle Pitts has 471 receiving yards, the most by a tight end through 6 career games in NFL history. He already became the first Falcon tight end with back-to-back 100-yard receiving games, and he is now seeking to become the first rookie tight end in the NFL with 3 straight. For fantasy, Atlanta receiver Calvin Ridley is one of 4 players averaging at least 2 red zone targets a game this season. Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, and Chris Godwin are the others. The betting nugget: Carolina has failed to cover in 4 straight games after starting 3-0 against the spread. Carolina is 3-0 against the spread when running back Christian McCaffrey plays, and 0-4 against the spread when he does not. The FPI giving a slight edge to Carolina, 51.1%. Pretty much 51%. Don't really like that, to be honest with you. So with that, I'm going with the Atlanta Falcons to pull this one out. And I say the final score in that one will be 28-21. The Atlanta Falcons knock off the Carolina Panthers. So, and we are definitely keeping an eye on Game 4 of the World Series. Unfortunately, Atlanta came up a little short with a big situation, but they're in it now. It's a one-run game. They got on the board, so we got a game now. 2-1 after 6. We go to the 7th. I know MF has been sweating bullets. He's been sweating bullets pretty much all day long, and so it's been a very big day for him. But with all that, Atlanta wins. My final score, I'm going to go 28-21. Atlanta pulls it out. So not much more to say. MF, Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons kicking off the Sunday slate of week number 8.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think Carolina is falling apart. I mean, right before our very eyes, everything was looking good for them. They were dominating. They were really playing great. All of a sudden, now they're in big trouble, and now they're the ones that's gonna have to, we'll see how this plays out. And Atlanta, there's been a couple of games where they've been looking really good. It looks like Kyle Pitts is starting to look like the tight end that they needed all along, being that big game threat. Matt Ryan is still being Matty Ice. He has his moments where he's really, really good, and then there's other moments where not so much. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. But I'm with you, Anthony. I think Atlanta's gonna win this game over Carolina. Nothing more to say. It's yours.
Well, I hate to do it to you, but it's about that time, because our next game, if my order is correct, yes, it is. It's the game that we have dubbed the Zonk Game of the Week on our side of the ledger, as it will be. It's our Buddy Bowl. It's MF's Miami Dolphins squaring off against my Buffalo Bills. Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park in Buffalo. And on the call for that one will be Andrew Catalan, James Lofton, and Cherie Burris. And Buffalo opening up as a 2-touchdown favorite, a 14-point spread for Buffalo. And the series, and they've already met this year. This is already their second meeting. They met back in week number 2, and they met in Miami, and Buffalo absolutely blew the doors off the Dolphins, 35-0. So it cuts Miami's dominant series lead down to 60-50. It's 60-50 now with a tie. So there's that. And that win now makes it 6 in a row now for the Buffalo Bills against the Miami Dolphins. And Buffalo won in Buffalo last year, week 17. MF and I had it. It was our Tony and Mikey game of the week. And unfortunately, it was not the Shakespearean drama classic we were hoping for. Buffalo blew the doors off the Dolphins again, 56-26. Miami has not won in Buffalo since 2016. That was a 34-31 overtime win. So, all right, MF. The hard times continue for the Dolphins, even though they hung with Atlanta last week. Oh, boy, they hung with the Falcons and then some. Unfortunately, another tough luck loss for Miami, and you're facing a Buffalo team. Go figure, coming off a loss. Another tough luck loss for Buffalo. They had that tough luck loss to Tennessee a couple Monday nights ago. And because of that, I hate to say it, just like going into the week 2 game, Buffalo's going to be coming at you boys with the tiki torches and the pitchforks. So
yeah, and the thing is that this game, it seems like it's a moot point, because of the fact that with Miami, it almost feels like Miami's given up on the season already. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people going in was thinking, oh, Miami, Miami has all these high expectations. They were a 10-win team last year. They build themselves to be a playoff contender. And then all of a sudden, it was this game against Buffalo in Miami, where everything just went wrong. The offensive line got exposed. Tua got hurt. Ended up fracturing ribs in that game. The defense went absolutely nowhere in that game. And Buffalo systematically dissected the Dolphins and basically provided a blueprint to the rest of the NFL. This is how you beat Miami. And Miami had no answer whatsoever since that game. They've lost 6 in a row now going into this game after beating New England, barely beating the Patriots in Foxborough. Now they've lost 6 in a row. And the thing is, Miami hasn't gotten better. Offensively, they've gotten better, but defensively, they're still at the bottom. There is nothing that has really resonated or has caused any concern or has even given any ray of hope for the Miami Dolphin fans. A lot of people are already saying that they're done with Tua. They're hoping that Watson becomes the quarterback. They hope that Miami gets Watson through the trading deadline. There's even people saying that they're tired of Flores and tired of Greer to fire them at the end of the season. There is a lot of unrest in Miami right now. As far as Buffalo fans go, Buffalo must be thinking, we let an opportunity get away. A couple of weeks ago, going up against the Tennessee Titans on Monday night, it looked like they had the game won. It looked like they were about to win the game. Maybe a shoddy call where it looked like Josh Allen got a first down. They called him down before the line of gain. And then his I don't even know what to call that quarterback sneak attempt on 4th down. That was whoa.
Right. I mean, even I was scratching my head. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
That's the best you guys can do? Come on. You're better than this.
So, obviously, when it comes to this game, if you're Buffalo, you got nothing to worry about. You're playing with the house money this time around. The Dolphins are literally a shell of the team that they were about a year or so ago. So you're not dealing with the 10-win team. You're looking at a team that really kind of has to be almost a shell of what they were. So at the end of the day, if you're the Dolphins, you're hoping to keep this close, and that's pretty much the hope and prayer is to try to keep it close, maybe try to steal it in the 4th. But Buffalo is so good. They beat you with so many ways. And the thing is that Miami has no answers for that team right now. Whenever they establish a running attack, you see Singletary and you see Moss go off. Receiving wise, if it's not Diggs, it could be the tight end, it could be somebody else. Whatever the case may be, they just find a way to win these games. And at the end, that's what's going to happen. Buffalo should have a comfortable victory over the Miami Dolphins. Yes, I'm going more analyst than fan here. So I'm going to separate the two here. But analytic wise, this game should not be close. This should be an easy victory for Buffalo over Miami. Anthony, it is yours.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Couldn't agree with you more. With all due respect, of course. But hold on one moment here. Pop up video. Okay. All right. So let me get into Miami and Buffalo. What to watch for? Can the Bills defense have another dominant performance against Miami? Or will the Dolphins offense support quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and put up more of a fight in Buffalo? When the AFC East foes met in week 2, the Bills held the Dolphins scoreless, but Tagovailoa was also knocked out of the game with an injury. The Dolphins have struggled as a team during a 6-game losing streak, but Tagovailoa has been solid in his last 2 starts. Against the number 1 defense in several categories, can the Dolphins keep things close? Bold prediction, the Dolphins have held consecutive opponents under 100 rushing yards, and they will extend that streak to 3 tomorrow. The Bills are currently rushing for 130.7 yards a game, but expect Miami's stout run defense to continue. Stat to know, and listen to this stat. The Bills have led at halftime in 15 straight games, which is the longest streak in NFL history. What to know for fantasy? Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen has thrown for multiple touchdowns in all 7 of his career starts against the Dolphins, but the 16.7 fantasy points he scored against them in week 2 was a career low against the divisional rival. Betting nugget, Miami has failed to cover in 4 straight games, but Coach Brian Flores is 10-5 against the spread as a road underdog. Overwhelming FPI favorite is Buffalo. 87.9%. You can pretty much round that up to 88% going with the Buffalo Bills in this one, as am I. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win this game as well. I'm going to go 38-17, Buffalo all over Miami. Make it 7 in a row for the Bills against the Dolphins. Sorry, MF and our other dear friend Eric Carrier and to the rest of your Dolphin family. I mean, it's a sorry, not sorry thing, really. But I just feel bad, because, and I feel bad for Miami because, I had them as a wild card team going into this season. I really did because of how well they did last year. But, man alive, it's sad. But anyways, we got to move on here, and we're going to move on to our next matchup, and this will be over on Fox. One of their top games of the week. Definitely one of their big games of the week here. The San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the Chicago Bears from Soldier Field in Chicago. And this game will be over on Fox. And, excuse me one moment here. Okay. And on the call for that one, it will be Adam Amin. Adam Amin will be sitting in for Kevin Burkhardt. He'll be working with Kevin Burkhardt's crew, Greg Olsen and Pam Oliver. And San Francisco opening up as a 4-point favorite and very close in the series history. Chicago leads the all-time series 32-31 with a tie. Their last meeting was 3 years ago, 2018, in San Francisco. Chicago won 14-9. 49ers have not beaten the Bears at home since 2012. That was a 32-7 beatdown. I think they were at the old Candlestick Park at that time. So with that, let's get into San Francisco and Chicago. What to watch for? Something has to give tomorrow. The 49ers arrive in Chicago, losers of 4 straight, but the Bears may be in greater disarray. Chicago is fresh off back-to-back losses to Green Bay and Tampa Bay, and to make matters worse, Coach Matt Nagy recently tested positive for COVID-19. And on top of it all, Bears star pass rusher Khalil Mack missed practice all week with a foot injury and is iffy to play in Week 8 and beyond. Bold prediction, 49ers receiver Mohamed Sanu Sr. will throw a touchdown pass. The Niners offense needs a spark, and it wouldn't be a surprise if they pull out a few Halloween tricks to try to snap their 4-game losing streak. Sanu has 4 touchdown passes and is 7 of 8 for 233 yards passing in his career, but he has yet to attempt to throw with San Francisco. This would be a good week to change that. Stat to know, San Francisco's Deebo Samuel has 648 receiving yards, the most by any 49er player through 6 games since the great Jerry Rice had 662 in 1989. For fantasy, Deebo Samuel and the LA Rams' Cooper Kupp are the only 2 players with at least 3 games with a 7 catch, 100-yard, 1 touchdown receiving stat line this season. Betting nuggets, Chicago games are 6-1 to the under this season, the highest under percentage in the NFL. San Francisco is the FPI favorite, 58.9%, about 59% going with San Francisco. I'm going with San Francisco to win as well. My final score, 20-17. The San Francisco 49ers steal one at Soldier Field in Chicago. Nothing more to say. MF, San Fran, and Chicago.
I agree. I think the 49ers are going to win it. I think they've learned their lessons. And plus, Chicago's a mess right now. With everything that's going on, yes, the Matt Nagy thing definitely does not help at all. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to win the game as well. So, Florio, it is yours.
All right, MF, and you'll be starting off on our next matchup, and it's one of our big games of the week, one of the big games of the week on our side of the ledger. This is our number 3 game of the week. The Pittsburgh Steelers squaring off against the Cleveland Browns, First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. This game will be over on CBS, and on the call for that one, hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson, they will be there. Cleveland opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. And the series history, and we know the history of these two teams, of course. And Pittsburgh leads the all-time series 75-60 with a tie. Of course, they met 3 times last year. They split the 2 regular season meetings, each team winning at home, which meant Cleveland won in Cleveland 24-22. And then, of course, that wild and crazy wild card game that wrapped up Super Wild Card Weekend. MF and I had it 48-37. Cleveland won that one. Pittsburgh has not won, and Pittsburgh has not won in Cleveland since 2017. 2017, the last time Pittsburgh won in Cleveland, 21-18. So there isn't much more to say here. MF, one of our top 3 games of the week, a game easily we could have done, but we're still with the World Series here. But anyways, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, first time they're meeting since that wild and crazy wild card game we did. Always fun when these two get together, and I believe tomorrow will be no exception.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We just got to see how this team's going to react. I think right now, Pittsburgh is turning into a team that starting to get that respect back. I think a lot of people feel like, going in there, maybe not so much, but now it looks like they are turning it around and they're looking really good. And then Cleveland, look, they've just been riddled with injuries left and right. Either that or there's been COVID. I don't know, Anthony. I kind of feel like Pittsburgh's going to win this game. There's something about this game. There's something that makes me feel like it's going to be Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go against the grain here and probably with the conventional wisdom. And I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers beats the Cleveland Browns. So, Florio, what's yours?
MF, I think you're going to like what you're about to see in Game 4 of the World Series if you haven't seen it already. But I know I'm a little ahead of you. I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, so, I guess I'll be here. Here we go.
Yep, I know you're watching.
Oh! Go! 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 Yes, sir!
I think he found it. In his immortal words, high fly ball into right field. This one is going back, and it is gone. Goodbye. Home run. Dansby Swanson. Tie game. Can you believe it? You got a Dick Enberg in you?
Oh, my. Let's go.
What is it about this Truist Park, MF? What is it about this particular home cooking? What is it about this? Unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness. And Dansby, man, we've been waiting for a moment like that. Oh, my goodness. We've been waiting for you to unleash. Welcome to the World Series, Dansby Swanson.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that one. It was a little close, but oh, no, that's
just
good.
Enough. I think he put it right into that roast house. Yeah, they're showing the replay now. Let's see. How close was this? He knew it was gone instantly. And it is. That's out. That's a home run.
Yep.
Because
yeah, it is.
Yep, because it hit that top of the wall. But that part of the wall, if it goes over that, that's gone. And that's where it hit. It hit right at the top of on top of the bricks, and then I believe it hit that little partition where the crowd is. That's down by where they call the chop shop. That's the little restaurant / area for the Atlanta Braves fans at Truist Park, and oh my, the tables have turned.
Indeed, it has. We have a brand new ball game. It is 2-2.
Oh,
this is how it should be. So, Yeah. So Houston was dominating for a good portion of this game. They led 2-0. And Atlanta chipped away. They got an RBI hit in the 6th, and then Swanson with the home run. Soler gone. Goodbye. What the hell am I doing? Let this guy go. He's our GOAT. Come on now.
All right. 2-1. Fly ball in the left. Headed to the bullpen. Gone. Goodbye. Home run. Back-to-back jacks. Jorge Soler. The Braves lead 3-2.
In the immortal words.
Unbelievable. Can you believe this? They were down 2-1.
2-0.
To start this inning. 2-0 overall. Greinke was looking amazing. Houston were on their way. And now the Braves, they're back to come alive.
In the immortal words of Pat Sajak after a huge win on a Wheel of Fortune, like when they win the 100,000 or even the $1 million. How you doing? How you doing, sir?
Oh my God!
Oh man!
And Alvarez got hurt too.
That is ooh.
Oh.
And if this wasn't if this comeback wasn't a game changer enough, Houston just may have lost their ALCS MVP.
Yeah.
Because remember, Yordan Alvarez was the MVP of the ALCS against the Red Sox.
It looks like he's okay. Yordan Alvarez, it looks like he's okay because he might just got the wind knocked out of him because he hit that right in there, and Jorge Soler might have just put himself as a candidate for the World Series MVP right about now. That's 2 monster home runs he's had in the series.
Led off the World Series with a home run.
And now this
a double switch.
Could that be the home run? Could that be the run that gives Atlanta a 3-1 lead and a chance to win the World Series tomorrow night? Atlanta's undefeated at home at this moment. And boy, are the Braves are surging. The Braves they're just
oh boy, I'm gonna tell you right now, friends. Don't you dare leave us now. We're gonna have some fun tonight.
Oh my goodness,
we're having fun already. As if talking about these big games weren't big enough. We're definitely gonna keep an eye on this as it progresses. But
it just wow. It's just become must-see TV. Oh my God.
I was worried. I mean, it was not looking good.
Clearly, yes.
Houston was rolling.
I was not feeling it right about now. I was definitely feeling a little,
like what Marv said in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. My, how the tables have turned. So, wow, what a moment. But lost in all this. MF, did you give your score for your prediction for Steelers Browns?
I said that the Steelers were going to win the game. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh will win it. I really got nothing else to add.
All right. Wow. All right.
Well, I was going to toss it to you, and then that's when all the chaos broke out in the World Series. So, but it is yours, Anthony. So you can go ahead.
Chaos indeed. All right. Trying to get our composure back here. All right. Yeah, a lot of excitement. But anyways, what to watch for here? What will the Browns look like at quarterback as Baker Mayfield attempts to return from the left shoulder injury? that caused him to miss Cleveland's last game. If he does start instead of backup Case Keenum, Mayfield will attempt to become the first Brown quarterback since Bernie Kosar in the late 1980s to defeat Pittsburgh in 3 straight games. Bold prediction, the Browns will double up the Steelers' rushing numbers. Even with their best running backs working through injury, the Browns have the league's best run game and the number 2 run defense. As missed tackles piled up, the Steelers gave up 104 rushing yards to Seattle in the second half of their Week 6 win. With Mayfield's game status up in the air, excuse me 1 second here. All right, pop-up video came up again. So, yeah, so I'm frozen here. Okay, here we go. Get back in this. With Mayfield's game status up in the air, the Browns will feature an even heavier run game, one that Pittsburgh defensive coordinator Keith Butler said has no problem running through arm tackles. If the Steelers don't correct their tackling issues from Week 6, tomorrow could be a long game. And on the other side, the Steelers' ground game has gotten better with the offensive line finding cohesion and Najee Harris getting into his rhythm. But the Browns will be their toughest test yet. Stat to know, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger has spent an average of 2.2 seconds in the pocket this season, the lowest rate in the NFL. He has a total QBR of 31.5 when having 2.5 seconds or more to throw, second worst in the NFL, and 63.3 when having 2.5 seconds or less, 19th in the NFL. For fantasy, Pittsburgh is coming off its bye, but in weeks 1 to 6, Harris was one of only 2 players in the league who had 15-plus touches in every game, along with Tennessee's Derrick Henry. Betting nugget, both Pittsburgh road games this season went under the total. Both Pittsburgh road games this season went under the total. Since 2015, the under is 37-12-1 in Pittsburgh road games. The FPI going with Cleveland, barely going with Cleveland, 52.9%, pretty much 53% going with Cleveland. I respectfully disagree with you, MF. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns to win this game. My final score, 21-17. Cleveland knocks off Pittsburgh. So that's all I can say on that one. So we try to maintain our composure after the craziness that we've just witnessed. Getting into our next matchup. This will be over on Fox, and it will feature the Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the Detroit Lions from Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. This game will be over on Fox, of course, and working this game for Fox, it will be as soon as I can find it here. All right. Detroit and Philly. That will be Philly and Detroit will be Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Megan O'Leary. They will be on the call for that one. And Philadelphia opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. And the series history favors the Detroit Lions. Detroit actually leads the all-time series 16-15 with 2 ties. Matter of fact, believe it or not, the Lions have actually won 3 in a row against Philadelphia. Their last meeting was 2019 in Philadelphia. Detroit actually won 27-24. And the Lions have won the last 2 meetings in Detroit, including their last one, 2016, 24-23. So the Eagles have not won in Detroit since 2010. That was a 35-32 final. So with all that, let's this one, I believe this one goes to me. So Philly and Detroit. Let's see. And this one's way down on the monitor. All right, here we go. What to watch for? Could this be the week that the Lions get their first victory under Coach Dan Campbell? Detroit is coming off a tough road loss against former franchise star Matthew Stafford and the Rams. They play tough and even had the lead entering the fourth quarter. Despite the winless start, the Lions have won 3 straight games against the Eagles, and Philadelphia seems vulnerable while off to their worst 7-game start since 1999, which was Andy Reid's first season with the team. Bold prediction, the Eagles and bold prediction. Here's a bold prediction for you. The Eagles and Lions will tie, but that's just a bold prediction. That's not my prediction, but the Eagles and Lions will tie. Seriously, is there a matchup more ripe for a draw? Both clubs are in the dumps. Neither feels particularly deserving of a win, and it would fit perfectly with the tone of this season if each fan base walked away dissatisfied. Plus, it's kind of their thing. The Eagles played to a tie last year, while the Lions did so in 2019, and they have 60 draws between the two of them over their respective histories. Let's put the bold back in bold predictions. Stat to know, Philadelphia quarterback Jalen Hurts is the only player in the NFL with at least 10 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns this season. But he also has 3 consecutive starts completing less than 60% of his passes, tied with the New York Jets' Zach Wilson in weeks 1 to 3 for the longest streaks by any starting quarterback this season. For fantasy, Lions running back DeAndre Swift has 4 games with more than 10 carries and more than 50 receiving yards this season. That's double the total of any other player. In fact, Alvin Kamara and the New Orleans Saints, Alvin Kamara, and the LA Chargers, Austin Eckler, were the only 2 players to have at least 4 such games all of last year. Betting nugget, Detroit is 4-3 against the spread, despite its 0-7 outright record. Of the 53 teams to start 0-7 since the 1970 merger, Detroit is the third to have a winning 8 against the spread record. 2017 San Francisco 49ers went 4-3, and the 1977 Tampa Bay Buccaneers went 4-2-1. The FPI is, of course, going with Philadelphia, 56.8%, 57% going with Philadelphia. And I got to reluctantly go with the Philadelphia Eagles as well. I just can't trust Detroit right now. I can't trust them. So 21-17, I got Philadelphia barely squeaking by Detroit. Even though this may be their best chance to finally get off that schneid. So there isn't much more to say. MF, I mean, we were expecting the Lions to get blown away by Stafford and the Rams last week, but boy, howdy, give it up for the Lions, man. They went into SoFi and they actually gave the Rams way more of a game than we expected. Go figure. Oh, hold on. MF stepped away from.
I'm back.
I just got that now. So all right.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna openly admit this, and I'm gonna say it. If there's the one game that the Detroit Lions could win, this might be the one. This might be the matchup. This might be the team. This might be the game. Unfortunately for all of us, I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm with you, Anthony. I just feel like Philly is just going to find a way to get the job done, win this game again, and I really got nothing more to add. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles to knock off the Detroit Lions, and yeah, it's yours.
Okay, so MF will start off on our next game, and you could consider this maybe the Zonk game of the week for the Fox side, as it will be the Los Angeles Rams squaring off against the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium, formerly Reliant Stadium in Houston, Texas, and this one will be over on Fox there, and working that game will be Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, and Jennifer Hale. And the Rams opening up with the biggest spread of the week. The Rams are opening up as 16-point favorites against the Houston Texans. Even though the Rams do lead the all-time series 3-1. Rams have won the last 2 meetings, including their last meeting, which was in Los Angeles in 2017. Rams won going away 33-7. Rams won their last meeting in Houston 38-13. That was in 2013. The Texans' only win against the Rams was in 2009 when Houston won at the then St. Louis Rams in the Edward Jones Dome 16-13. So MF, I think we could pretty much say, in addition to the Miami and Buffalo game on our side, when it comes to the Fox side, this is their Zonk game of the week, a.k.a. the lock of the week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What's the matchup again, Anthony? I just want to...
The LA Rams against the Houston Texans. Rams opening up at a 16-point spread.
Got it. Houston Texans, such an abysmal team. Bad team, to say the very least. There's really nothing more to add. You got to feel like the Rams are going to win this one and win this one going away. So, yeah, Rams win. Florio, go.
Oh yeah, it's going to be the Rams. There's no question about that. And as soon as I can find my, okay, here we go. What to watch for last week? Rams receiver Cooper Kupp became the 5th wide receiver to record at least 9 catches, 125 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns in consecutive games. Can he become the first receiver to do it in 3 consecutive games against the Texans defense that is allowing an average of 12.6 yards per catch and 29 points a game? Bold prediction. Los Angeles defensive tackle Aaron Donald will earn his first multi-sack game of the season, and its secondary will continue its multi-interception streak to 4 games. The Texans are among the lowest scoring offenses in the NFL, averaging only 13.6 points a game. They've proven to be susceptible to turnovers and sacks, so watch for the Rams defense to turn it up another notch. Stat to know, Matthew Stafford leads the NFL in total QBR, 78.8, and trails only Tom Brady in passing touchdowns this season with 19. He also ranks 3rd in passing yards, 2,172, and yards per attempt, 9.01. For fantasy, among qualifiers, Kupp ranks 6th in fantasy points per catch this season, while the Texans' Brandon Cooks ranks 36th. Betting nugget, Houston is the 2nd team in the last 10 years to be a double-digit underdog 5 times in its first 8 games. The other team, sorry MF, it was your Miami Dolphins in 2019. Overwhelming favorite is the Rams in the FPI, 85.4%, 85% going with the LA Rams. I'm going with the LA Rams. 32-14, LA all over Houston. So there isn't much more to say on that. So now we go, and I believe next up, I believe it's our game of the week. Yes, it is. It's the game of the week on our side of the ledger. The Tennessee Titans squaring off against the Indianapolis Colts from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. This game will be over on CBS. Spiro Ditas, Jay Feely, they get the call for that one. And believe it or not, Indianapolis is actually opening up as a 2.5-point favorite, which is a little surprising. But anyways, I know they've already played this year. I know this is their 2nd meeting this season, and I do believe the Tennessee Titans won that first meeting this year. Just bear with me. Yes, Tennessee defeated Indianapolis 25-16, and that was back in week number 3. Week 3 was when Tennessee knocked off Indianapolis 25-16. That game was at Nissan Stadium in Nashville, which, oh, by the way, next year is going to be hosting the 2nd biggest pay-per-view on the WWE calendar, SummerSlam. Whoa, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, I cannot wait for that one. That's going to be amazing. Anyways, the series history with that Titan win, you can add another win to the Tennessee Titans all-time total against Indy in the series history, and they have cut it. And Indianapolis, actually, even though Tennessee won the last meeting, Indianapolis still has a sizable lead in this series. It's now 35-18 after Tennessee knocked off Indianapolis in Nashville. So they've now won 2 in a row against the Colts. Last meeting in Indy was last year. Tennessee won 45-26. Matter of fact, Tennessee has won the last 2 meetings against Indianapolis. Tennessee winning 31-17 last in 2019. Indy's last win at home against Tennessee was 2018. That was a 38-10 final. And just want to check the count here. Make sure we're in the correct rotation here. Yeah, this goes to me. So all right, so I lead off on what would have been our game of the week if we weren't doing the World Series. So, but here we go. Big game here in the South. Started out. What to watch for? Can the Colts defense contain the Titans' Derrick Henry? The best running back in the NFL has topped at least 100 yards in 4 straight games against the Colts. rushing for 542 yards. That's an average of 135.5 a game, and 4 touchdowns in those 4 matchups. And he picked up 113 on the ground against Indianapolis earlier this season in week 3. The Titans, more importantly, are 3-1 against the Colts in that 4-game span. Bold prediction, despite the return of Colts guard Quentin Nelson, the Titans will sack Indy quarterback Carson Wentz 4 times. The Titans' defensive front has found its mojo over the past 2 games, thanks in large part to a package that features former Colt Denico Autry and Bud Dupree on the outside with Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry on the interior. Tennessee has 7 sacks in the last 2 weeks. Stat to know, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor has back-to-back 100-yard rushing games for the first time in his career. No Colts player has hit 100 in 3 straight games since Hall of Famer Edgerrin James had 5 straight in 2005. For fantasy, Henry is on pace for 464 carries this season, his 869 rushing yards, and has a chance to set his career high for receptions in an entire season this weekend. Betting Nugget, Indianapolis has covered 4 straight games, but Tennessee is 4-0 outright and against the spread against teams that made the playoffs last season. FPI is going with Indianapolis, 53.6%, pretty much 54% going with Indy. But I got to go with Tennessee, though. I just think Tennessee's the better team. They're the hotter team right now. I mean, would I be surprised if Indy won? I would not, because Indy's actually been playing better after they got off to a very rough start. But I got to go with Tennessee, though, especially Derrick Henry. 31-27, Tennessee knocks off Indianapolis in what should be a fantastic game. So there isn't much more to say. Hello, friends and MF. Even though it's not our game, how would you approach it if it had been?
I mean, it would have been a very interesting matchup. But the one thing I would be establishing was how would they handle the running attack of Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry right now is without a doubt the best runner in the game today. I think, Anthony, you know that better than anybody else, especially after what he did to Buffalo. And the way that he's running in his attack and his offense, and, how are they going to be able to neutralize that? But then you also got to think about is, what about for Indy? Indy just got off a major win. Did a major win, and let's talk about that one, and we'll see how that plays out. At the end of the day, I feel like it can be a number of ways that this could play out, but at the end of it, I believe that the Tennessee Titans will get the job done. I'm with you on this one. Tennessee wins, and that's all I'll say about that. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right. So we move on now to our final early game of week number 8. And it's one of the lower echelon games of the week. The Cincinnati Bengals squaring off against the New York Jets from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, in the Meadowlands. And I just want to set up my series history. All right, I got it here. And on the call for that one, Bengals and Jets, that will be Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins. And Cincinnati opening up as an 11-point favorite. The Jets lead the all-time series 15-10. However, the Bengals have won the last 3 meetings. They've won 3 in a row against the Jets, including their last meeting in New York, which was in 2016, 23-22, Cincy won. Jets last beat the Bengals at home and overall in 2010. That was a 26-10 final. So, MF, I know it's been a long time since we've done this, but after what they did to the Ravens last week in Baltimore, I think we got to do it for old time's sake. Who they think can stop them Bengals? They ain't the Bungles no more, boy.
Oh, no, they're not the Bungles, and it was Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow and them boys, they're rising up to the right moment. They're rising up in a spectacular fashion. But the thing is how are they going to react? How are they going to do with the next game? The whole 9 yards. I'm with you, Anthony. The Bengals are flying now, and they're roaring, and they're looking like a team that maybe could be a threat. Keep a close eye on this team. I'm not going to say that they are yet, but they're looking very, very good right now to possibly become a possible threat in the AFC. We have Buffalo. Tennessee is there. We could talk about, you got the Chargers right now out west. Of course, Kansas City, but Kansas City is a mess right now. We'll get into them. But I gotta say it. This is gonna be an interesting matchup. This could be an interesting game for me. The winner, I'm gonna go with this. I'll go with it. And I'm gonna say that I think Cincinnati wins. Floyo, it's yours.
Absolutely. I mean, who day? That's all I'm saying. I mean, I thought they were good. I didn't really have much expectation for this team this year, but boy, have they proven me wrong, and I am beyond impressed. What to watch for? An ascending Cincinnati team with a number 1 overall pick, Joe Burrow, faces a floundering New York team with a number 171 pick, Mike White, in a lopsided quarterback matchup. The Bengals are coming off a 24-point win over the Baltimore Ravens, whereas the Jets are coming off a 41-point loss to Michael Bullock's New England Patriots. Get the idea? This could be a first-round knockout. The Jets have been outscored in the first quarter 44-0, and the mojo probably won't change with White, who makes his first NFL start. Bold prediction, Bengals backup quarterback Brandon Allen will throw a touchdown. That's right, for the 3rd straight game, Cincinnati's number 2 signal caller should see the field, and he will get his 2nd touchdown throw of the season. Stat to know, the Bengals defense ranks 4th in the NFL in yards per play allowed, 5.1, and yards per attempt allowed, 6.6, and 6th in yards per rush allowed, 3.99. For fantasy, since the beginning of last season, a rookie receiver has scored 27.5 fantasy points in a game 7 times. Bengals receiver Jamar Chase has done it twice in the last 3 weeks. Betting nugget, New York has the worst average cover margin in the NFL, minus 9.9, and it had the 2nd worst mark last season. The Jets are 1-5 against the spread this season, all as an underdog. Big favorite in the FPI is Cincinnati, 76.2% going with the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals as well to keep their winning ways going. 35-13 Cincinnati all over the Jets. So that covers the early games, and now let's get into the late games now. There's 4. There's 2 on each network. Two on CBS at 4:05 and 2 on Fox at 4:25. We'll start with the 4:05 games on our end on CBS, and we're gonna move on to what MF and I agreed would be our number 2 game of the week. The number 2 game of the week, the New England Patriots squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers from the home of Super Bowl 56, SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. And on the call for that one will be Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn. And the Chargers opening up as 4.5-point favorites. And the series history, it favors trying to find it here. All right. Series history favors the New England Patriots, 23-14 with 2 ties. They met last year in LA, and it was all New England all the time. 45-0 beatdown for the Patriots over the Chargers. And the Patriots have actually won 6 in a row against the Chargers, including the playoffs, including that AFC divisional playoff game that MF and I had in January of 2019. That New England won 41-28. Chargers have not beaten the Patriots overall and at home since 2008. When they were the San Diego Chargers, 30-10 at the old Qualcomm Jack Murphy Stadium. So, been a long time coming for the LA Chargers. So with that, I believe I start this one off. So here we are, late games now. What to watch for? Will Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert step up to the occasion? He has been solid this season, but he's facing Patriots coach Bill Belichick, who can fool just about anybody. The Patriots walloped Herbert and the Chargers 45-0 last season. But as LA running back Austin Eckler said, this isn't last year's team. The Patriots have plenty of post-snap trickery and love to run man defense with 2 safeties high. But Herbert has more experience this season and won't be caught by surprise. Bold prediction, Patriots receiver Jacoby Myers will catch his first touchdown pass in the NFL. He has played in 36 career games and has 126 receptions with no touchdowns. The first player since the 1970 merger with that kind of combination. The Chargers can be tough to throw against, but quarterback Mac Jones and the Patriots offense enters off its most explosive performance of the season. Stat to know, the Chargers have allowed the most rushing yards a game at 162.5 and yards per rush 5.5 in the NFL this season. And their 975 rushing yards allowed is the team's most through 6 games since 1975. For fantasy, just 4 quarterbacks over the last 20 years have scored 460 fantasy points in their first 21 starts. Patrick Mahomes, 532.2, Lamar Jackson, 516, Deshaun Watson, 472.9, and Justin Herbert, 466.9. Betting nugget, the Patriots are 6-0 against the spread against the Chargers since 2010, including the playoffs, but Herbert is 8-2 against the spread in his last 10 starts. The FPI going with the Chargers, 61.8%, round that up to 62%, going with the Chargers. I'm going with the LA Chargers to win this game. My final score, 27-21. LA knocks off New England. But would I be surprised if New England were to steal one there? Actually, I kind of wouldn't, because New England's actually been playing very well as of late. So, I mean, we've seen it. They gave Tampa a run for their money. We should know. MF Bullock and I, we went to B-Dubs, Buffalo Wild Wings, and had the time of our lives watching that game 4 weeks ago. And what about what they did against the Dallas Cowboys in the Derek Ferreira Bowl? Boy, they gave them a run for their money. And then, of course, last week they absolutely lit up the Jets. So we'll see. But Chargers win for me, 27-21. MF, if this isn't, I mean, I can't. This number 2 game of the week is definitely, as far as I'm concerned, without a doubt, you can consider this easily as the sleeper game of the week.
Oh, sleeper game of the week, no doubt about it. And the thing is that what will the Chargers do? We know what they can do against any other team, but the last time they played the Patriots, which was about a year ago, they got absolutely smashed at SoFi. I mean, you want to talk about an obliteration. They got destroyed in that game. So you know they're going to want some revenge. They're going to want this to be a bounce back. It's what are they going to do and how are they going to respond? So obviously they know last year was a bad game. They know they got humiliated. It's basically now, what do? How do you combat that? Well, we'll wait and see how this plays out. But one thing is for sure, this is going to be a good matchup. This will be an interesting game. Yes, the Patriots are looking a lot more better, but the Chargers are by far one of the best teams in the division in the AFC West. So give me the Chargers to win it. Anthony, it's yours.
All right, and MF will start the next matchup, the other 4:05 game on CBS. The Jacksonville Jaguars squaring off against the Seattle Seahawks from Lumen Field in Seattle. The legendary Greg Gumbel, along with Adam Archuleta and AJ Ross, and Seattle opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. Seattle leads the all-time series 5-3. Their last meeting was 4 years ago in 2017. Jacksonville won 30-24 in Jacksonville. Last meeting in Seattle, 2013. Seahawks won going away 45-17. The Jaguars have never won in Seattle. All 3 of their wins against Seattle were in Jacksonville. So they've never won in Seattle. MF, does that start here?
No, I think Seattle bounces back. Look, Jacksonville is just a complete and utter mess. I'm not really they did beat the Miami Dolphins. That was a nice win at London. But honestly, Anthony, I just feel like this team is, when it comes to Jacksonville, I just feel like I don't see it. I don't get it. It was a nice win. I just don't see them bouncing back. And plus with Seattle, there's just so many weapons. And I kind of feel like they let that game get away. So I feel like if Geno Smith plays a little better, it'll be a lot more better. But at the end of the day, I got to say, I'm going to go with Seattle to win, and I got nothing more to add. So, Anthony, it's yours.
All right. So what to watch for here? Can the Seahawks keep their defensive turnaround going against quarterback Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars? If the improvement they've shown in recent weeks is real, it will continue tomorrow against the NFL's 27th rated quarterback in terms of QBR, and that will make life easier on their own QB, Geno Smith. Russell Wilson's replacement hasn't been able to lead a game-winning drive in 3 chances. The best thing the Seahawks can do tomorrow is avoid that scenario altogether and put the game away early, but that's easier said than done with a backup quarterback. Bold prediction, Seattle tight end Gerald Everett will have 100 receiving yards and score at least 1 touchdown. He has 13 catches for 128 yards and 1 touchdown combined in 5 games this season. But it wouldn't be surprising if he came close to those numbers tomorrow. The Jaguars haven't defended tight ends well all season. They're allowing 78% completions when QBs are targeting tight ends and have allowed 474 yards and 4 touchdowns. Stat to know, Seattle receiver DK Metcalf will be playing his 40th career game tomorrow. With 23 career receiving touchdowns, he trails only Darrell Turner, 25, for the most through 40 career games in Seattle Seahawks franchise history. For fantasy, Jaguars running back James Robinson has 4 straight games with 70 rushing yards and a touchdown, the longest such streak in a decade. LaShawn McCoy had a 5-game streak in 2011. The and the betting nugget, Smith has covered 7 straight starts dating back to 2014. Seattle is the FPI favorite, 70.4%, 70% going with Seattle. I'm going with Seattle as well. Closer game than you might think because it is the backup quarterback and not Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson was playing, then I would have said easy win. But with a backup and Geno Smith, I think Seattle will eke it out. I'll go 24-19. Seattle defeats Jacksonville, gets back on their winning ways, and they should have Russell Wilson back in a couple weeks. So I believe he should be ready for Week 10. I think they're on bye next week, and if all goes well, he could be back in 2 weeks in Week 10 when Seattle goes to Green Bay. And I'll tell you what, for Seattle, they definitely need Russell Wilson because, I mean, going against Aaron Rodgers and how red hot Green Bay's been, oh boy. So, well, we got a comment in here. He says, I only care about the GOAT Tom Brady. Well, we're going to get to him momentarily. So hold on. So with that being said, let's get now into the 425 games for Fox. And before we get to the GOAT, we'll get to the other game that's taking place before that. It'll be the Washington football team squaring off against the Denver Broncos from Empower Field in Mile High in Denver. And this game will be over on Fox. And on the call for that one, it will be Brandon Gaudin, Mark Schlereth, and Shannon Spake. And Denver opening up as a 3.5-point favorite. And Denver leads the all-time series 7-6. Their last meeting was 2017 in Washington. Washington won 27-11. Last meeting in Denver, 2013. Denver won 45-21. The Redskins, or I should say the Washington football team, has not won in Denver since they were the Washington Redskins, and that was back in 2001, 17-10. And I think that was either the first or second year of Empower Field. But anyways, getting into this now, Washington and Denver. What to watch for? In their last 3 games, the Broncos haven't once held a lead. 4 of the Broncos' 7 opponents, including the last 3, have scored a touchdown on their first possession of the game, while Denver has scored 1 first possession touchdown all season. A slow start would quickly remove the Broncos' home field advantage as an increasingly surely fan base is quick to crank up the boos for the home team these days. Washington has won its only 2 games in which it has scored at least 23 points. So Denver has to keep the Washington offense in check, especially early on. Bold prediction, Washington running back Antonio Gibson will record his first 100-yard rushing game of the season. He has not surpassed 69 yards rushing since week 2. And Denver's run defense ranks 8th overall. But in the last 3 games, Denver is 22nd in yards a carry allowed and 29th in yards allowed a game. Washington needs to take pressure off quarterback Taylor Heinicke. Stat to know, Broncos quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, 2 of 3 touchdowns in 5 games this season. He has 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 1 pick. He has 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 1 pick. has thrown 5 interceptions in his last 3 games after throwing none in his first 4 games of the season. For fantasy, Washington has allowed over 10.5 fantasy points to a tight end 4 times this season. One of those instances was to Travis Kelce, and there's no shame in that. But the other 3 names on that list are Green Bay's Robert Tonyan, 16.3 points last weekend, Buffalo's Dawson Knox, 14.9 in week 3, and Jared Cook, 10.6 in week 1. Denver tight end Noah Fant could have a big week. Betting nugget, Washington is 1-6 against the spread this season, the worst mark in the NFL. It is 0-4 against the spread as an underdog and 0-3 against the spread against the AFC West. Denver, FPI favorite, 69%, going with the Denver Broncos. I'm going with the Denver Broncos to win this game as well. 23-20, Denver knocks off Washington. So, MF, what says you?
Agreed. I'm going to go with Denver. I kind of feel like Washington kind of hit their stride, even though Taylor Heinicke has some moments. But I do believe Gibson will have a good running attack and a good running day, but that just won't be enough to overpower and to get a win over the Denver Broncos. So I'm with you. Denver wins. On to the next one.
And for Fox, it's America's Game of the Week, as it will feature the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, your reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, squaring off against the New Orleans Saints from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. This game's going to be on Fox. Now, I know you're all wondering, and if you're wondering, Joe Buck will not be calling this game. You're wondering, okay, if Joe Buck's not working, who's gonna take his place? It's going to be another Joe Davis, the voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers in Major League Baseball, and has done some work for Fox as well. Joe Davis will be sitting in for Joe Buck. He'll be working with Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi for this game. Tampa Bay opening up as a 4.5-point favorite, and New Orleans leads the all-time series 37-21. They met 3 times last year. The Saints swept the season series, but Tampa Bay went into New Orleans and beat the Saints in the Superdome back in January of this year in that divisional playoff game, 30-20. But the Saints won the regular season meeting last year, 34-23, and they won 31-24 the year before in 2019. Tampa Bay has not won in New Orleans since week 1 of 2018, a wild 48-40 shootout. So, the comment, the username was GT500, and that's what he said. I only care about the GOAT Tom Brady. Well, guess what, brother? We're going to talk about him right now. So MF, Tom Brady and the champs, they keep on rolling, and they're finally going to get tested as they go up against Kamara and the Saints in what should be a wild game in the Dome.
It should be a wild game at the Dome, and normally, and this is one of those things, especially if you remember earlier in the season or earlier in last year, the first game was against New Orleans. There was a good shootout there, but what happened was they were able to establish, and I'm talking about New Orleans. They were able to establish, and what they did was they were going for a cover zone. They weren't trying to look for the blitzing. They weren't trying to do what everybody else was troping for. What they were going for was to play back, play an offensive style game where defensively they would be basically daring Brady to throw it. But if you're going to throw it, you were going to either play it under zero coverage, you were going to be doing it where there's going to be 2 guys or 3 guys around the area to get to the receiver. So either it was going to be minimal game, or if they jump the route, they're picking Brady off. And they did very well against Brady the first couple of battles. So that's why I believe that New Orleans is going to feel good about themselves going into this. But here's the problem that they got this time around. There is so many weapons that Brady can kill you with this time around, from Antonio Brown, you got Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, you got, I don't know, I think Gronk is playing this game too. You got Rob Gronkowski, you got Cameron Brate. So there's so many different things or different looks that the Buccaneers will give to New Orleans that offensively it's going to turn into an offensive shootout. Now, Jameis Winston is going to be the major key for New Orleans if they're going to win or not. If we get the good Jameis, if he's able to establish the flow, get it to his guys early, and not try to be a hero ball, just play within the plan, then there's a very good chance they're walking out with an upset victory. But at the end of the day, you still got a top 10 defense with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I truly believe that at the end of the night, it will be the Buccaneers beating the Saints in New Orleans. It's going to be close, Anthony. This is why they call it America's Game of the Week. It will be the game of the week. The Buccaneers knocks off the Saints at the Dome. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. What to watch for? Saints quarterback Jameis Winston's first game against his former team will add extra intrigue, but this matchup doesn't need it, as these two teams continue their battle for NFC South supremacy. The Buccaneers are the favorites, barely missing a beat this year as reigning Super Bowl champions. But remember, the Saints have won the last 4 NFC South division titles and swept Tampa Bay in convincing fashion in the regular season last year before the Bucs got revenge in the divisional playoffs. Bold prediction, Winston will throw 2 interceptions. He has dramatically cut down on his picks, with just 3 this year, tied for 5th fewest in the NFL. But his desire to shine against his old team may get the best of him. Tampa Bay is one of 4 teams with double-digit interceptions this season, 10. Stat to know, Buccaneer receiver Mike Evans and Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore will square off tomorrow, and it's a matchup that Lattimore has dominated. According to NFL Next Gen stats, the two have lined up against each other 96 times since 2019. Evans has recorded just 1 reception on 8 targets, with Lattimore as the nearest defender in that time. 3-yard touchdown. For fantasy, in an era where mobility at the quarterback position is close to mandatory, Tampa Bay's Tom Brady has been a top 4 fantasy option at the position in 4 of the last 6 weeks. Betting nugget, New Orleans is 10-2 against the spread as an underdog since 2018, and Tampa Bay is 0-3 against the spread on the road this season. Tampa Bay is the FBI favorite, 64%, going with Tampa Bay. I'm going with Tampa Bay as well. My final score, I'm going to say 26-23. Tampa Bay defeats New Orleans. And now we're going to move on to the primetime games. And we started off with Sunday Night Football on NBC. Another good one in the NFC. The Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings. US Bank Stadium, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sunday Night Football on NBC. And on the call for that one, you already know who's working it. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, and Dallas. Actually, no, believe it or not, Minnesota is actually opening up as a 3-point favorite. There is a good reason for that, because Dak Prescott is apparently going to be a game time decision. Undisclosed injury. I didn't even know about this. News to me. But Dallas leads the all-time series 13-12. And Dallas won, and these two teams met in Minnesota last year, and Dallas won 31-28. Minnesota last beat Dallas at home back in 2010 when they were in the Metrodome, 24-21. So let's get into what should be a very intriguing Sunday Night Football matchup. What to watch for? Expect a high-scoring affair in what could be the best game of Week 8. Dallas is averaging a league-best 34.2 points a game compared to Minnesota's 24.5. That ranks 14th. And with a host of high-end skill players on both offenses, it could very well take 40 points for one team to emerge victorious. Both franchises emerge in Week 8 coming off a bye. But the Cowboys are more banged up than the Vikings, with quarterback Dak Prescott recovering from a calf injury. Dallas hopes its dominant offensive line can withstand the number 1 pass rush in the NFL. Bold prediction, Dallas cornerback Trayvon Diggs will make it 7 straight games with an interception. When he does, he will make NFL history. No player has picked off a pass in the first 7 games of a season. Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins has been intercepted in each of his last 4 games at home. He has thrown 17 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in his career against the Cowboys, but he has not been intercepted in 2 games against Dallas since joining Minnesota. Stat to know, Prescott has 4 straight games with at least 3 touchdown passes, the longest streak in Cowboys history, and tied with Kansas City's Patrick Mahomes for the longest such streak in the NFL this season. No QB has thrown 3 in 5 straight games since Andrew Luck had 8 straight in 2018. For fantasy, Vikings running back Dalvin Cook has picked up at least 10 yards on 20% of his carries this season. Betting nugget, Dallas is the only team in the NFL undefeated against the spread, 6-0. Last season, it failed to cover its first 8 games of the season. Slight favorite for Dallas in the FPI, 50.7%, pretty much 51% going with Dallas. And I think Dallas is going to win what I believe is going to be a shootout of a game. Now, I'll say it like this. Oh my goodness, look at that. What a moment. MF, you got some business to do in a moment, but if Prescott doesn't play, 34-30 Dallas, but if he plays, 40-38. But either way, I got the Dallas Cowboys knocking off the Minnesota Vikings. So not much more to say. MF, come on in. You got some business to do, brother.
All right. Alvarez. And the 2-2 is a ground ball to first. Freddie Freeman there. Braves a winner. They have won game 4. They now have a 3-1 lead in this World Series. They could wrap it up tomorrow night.
On Halloween of all nights. Go figure. What a treat that would be.
7-0 at home for the Atlanta Braves this season. They have won every postseason game up to this point.
2-0 against Milwaukee in the division series, 3-0 against the Dodgers in the NLCS, and 2-0 against Houston. Wow. NMF. I gotta do it, brother. I gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
I gotta do the special for you. I know how much you love this, and this is just for you, man. One more. One
win away. We gotta stay focused. They gotta stay true to themselves. Don't get ahead. You know Houston's gonna throw everything but the kitchen sink at them tomorrow, and it's another bullpen game. We got another. From what I'm hearing, it's possibly going to be Drew Smyly tomorrow for Atlanta.
All right.
So that's the rumor going around. It's possibly going to be Drew Smyly, the starter for Atlanta. So we just got to get there. We need one more win.
Well, I ask you, do you have butterflies in your stomach the size of eagles right now?
Ooh.
I'll take that as a yes.
I will say this. I'm at it's one of those where I'm numb right now because it's so close. We're so close to the World Series now. We can feel it. We can taste it. But we also got to remember it's 4 wins. That means we need to get 27 more outs. We need to win tomorrow. So I'm hoping for the best.
As am I.
So great win. Great come from behind tonight.
Great.
But the thing is, tomorrow is going to become the biggest game of the season for the Braves. And for every Brave fan, if you were there for 95 and you remember all the close calls from the down years, the rebuild, the whole 9 yards, to the heartbreak about a year ago where we thought we were going to get to the World Series and lost it to the Dodgers. And now we literally have the entire country on our backs rooting for the Braves because of who we're playing against in this World Series. Because I don't think there would be that many Braves fans if it was the Boston Red Sox. But because it's the Astros and because of the baggage they bring, without a doubt, they want us to win this World Series just because they don't want Houston to get it. So we just got to finish the job, and we got to finish it tomorrow, man. But, oh, my God. I'm going to have a very sleepless night tonight. I can already tell you right now. I'm probably not going to get that much sleep tonight. I'm going to be too jacked up for tomorrow.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. But,
oh, man.
But as I give it to you regarding the Cowboys and the Vikings game tomorrow night, I think Dak's going to play. I got this feeling Dak's going to be I think Dak's going to be a go, and because of that, I'm going to go with the wild high score prediction, 40-38. Dallas knocks off Minnesota. If I'm overscoring it, I can't help it. It's just these two offenses are so dynamo.
Yeah,
we could be in for a Wild West style shootout tomorrow night. But 40-38, Dallas wins over Minnesota. MF, they say Dak's going to be a game time go. I think he's going to go. What says you?
The reason why that he's a game time decision is because he got hurt. I think he injured his leg in that game against the New England Patriots. At the end, right around overtime, there was a noticeable limp. And I think that was the one thing that a lot of people freaked out about. I think it was like a contusion, or there was like something wrong with the leg. And that's where the panic is starting to set in if you're a Cowboys fan. But I'm with you. I think Dak will play. I think there's not going to be much of an issue. I got Cowboys winning. So nothing more to say. We got the Monday Nighter, so let's do it.
All right, and I believe you take it home, MF. Monday Night Football on ESPN, and it'll feature the New York Giants squaring off against the Kansas City Chiefs from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. This will be over on ESPN. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Louis Riddick, and Lisa Salters. And, of course, for those of you who want the Manning brothers take on it, you can go over to ESPN2 and watch Peyton and Eli.
They're awesome. Must watch. I guarantee. Honestly, a must watch. They're awesome. Nothing more to say.
And I know you're not the only one who feels that way. They've gotten quite a bit of a cult following, if you will. But,
oh yes.
But believe it or not, hold on a minute. I got caught for a minute, so just hang on. Just bear with me for a moment.
Okay.
Here we go.
I know definitely Kansas City is definitely the favorite.
10-point favorite.
Okay.
Kansas City a 10-point favorite. And even though Kansas City is a 10-point favorite, the Giants actually lead the all-time series. Get this, MF, 11-3. It's 11-3 in favor of the Giants. And the Giants won their last meeting, 2017, in New York, 12-9 in overtime. Last meeting in Kansas City, 2013. Kansas City won going away, 31-7. The Giants, they've only won they've won in Arrowhead before, but the last time they won at Arrowhead was in 2009, 27-16. So, all right, MF, Giants and the Chiefs, Monday Night Football to close out week number 8. And, the Giants, I believe, I think they won their last game, did they not? But here's the thing, though. Kansas City. I mean, if I had told you that the Kansas City Chiefs were going to be 3-4 through their first 7 games and in the lower echelon in the AFC West, you would have called me crazy, I'm sure.
Absolutely, because everybody would have thought that, they'll turn it around, they'll do this, they'll do that. They're a great team. So you would not think that there would be this type of incident or problem or whatever you want. And sure enough, yes, there is an issue. There is a legit problem here. At the end of the day, Kansas City should be able to, I just have to say, I think Kansas City is going to bounce back. I think they're going to get this win here. The Giants, I'm not as a big fan of the Giants as many other people are. One Kaiser Butler, but I think Kansas City will ride the ship. They have to ride the ship, and I think they'll win it. So Kansas City wins. Nothing more to say, Anthony. It's yours to end it.
All right, and it'll end what has been a fun night. But what to watch for? Can the Chiefs' offensive line and quarterback Patrick Mahomes handle the Giants' pressure? The Chiefs did a poor job of handling the Titans' pass rush last week when Tennessee blitzed just one time in 44 dropbacks, but pressured Mahomes on 18 of those plays. Keep an eye on Chiefs left tackle Orlando Brown Jr., who has struggled this season against speed rushers. Bold prediction, Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce will have 150-plus yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. He has already topped 100 yards twice this season. The Giants' defense has been pedestrian against tight ends, and it hasn't faced anyone like Kelce. The Dallas Cowboys' Dalton Schultz went for 6 catches and 79 yards against them. It makes you wonder the type of damage Kelce can do. Stat to know, when getting the ball out within 2.5 seconds, Mahomes had 13-1 touchdown to interception ratio and an 86% completion percentage this season. But when he takes longer, he has a 5-8 ratio, a 5-8 ratio, and a 48% completion percentage. For fantasy, a running back has scored over 16 fantasy points when playing the Giants 5 times this season. Darrell Williams is in line to start for the Chiefs with Clyde Edwards-Helaire on injured reserve. Betting nugget, Giants quarterback Daniel Jones is 3-10 as a road underdog, but he is 10-3 against the spread in those games. Overwhelming favorite is Kansas City in the FPI. 74.7%, about 75% going with Kansas City. I'm going with Kansas City, and I think they'll have a vintage bounce-back game. 35-20, Kansas City knocks off the Giants. So with that said, that will put the bow on this wild and crazy Week 8 edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. A very exciting show, to say the very least, not just getting into these games, but a very exciting Game 4 of the World Series. And I know good old MF Michael Fletcher, definitely, like the great Jerry the King Lawler would say, he's got butterflies in his stomach the size of eagles right about now. And he's going to have that feeling for a good 24-plus hours. No question about that. And, man, I mean, I may not be a Brave super fan like MF is, but I'm starting to get that feeling. I'm kind of starting to get that feeling myself. And one of the funny bits that we used to do on commentary, back in the days when my Yankees were winning World Series and championships and all that, I would shake him literally by saying, "We did it, kid. We did it, kid." And MF got that thrill in the NLCS, and who knows, tomorrow night, as early as tomorrow night, MF could end up doing that to me again. And I hope I would love for the tables to be turned on that, and then let MF have that emotional close at the end of it. But we'll see. But anyways, next week on this program, what can we expect for week number 9 of the NFL season? A very intriguing Sunday Night Football matchup, which will be our game when we come back from the World Series, and that is the Tennessee Titans against the Los Angeles Rams. That's going to be a good one. Other notable games to get into next week, we got the Minnesota Vikings squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens. We got the New England Patriots against the Carolina Panthers in a sleeper matchup. The Cleveland Browns against the Cincinnati Bengals. Good number 2 game right there. Denver Broncos against the Dallas Cowboys, another sleeper matchup. Atlanta Falcons against the New Orleans Saints. That's another good one. Of course, the Green Bay Packers against the Kansas City Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. Big West matchup. Of course, the Titans and the Rams. That's the big game for our side next week. And an intriguing Monday Night Football game next week. The Chicago Bears against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 2 of the all-time franchises. So should be some good stuff next week. So, all right. So let's set the table now for our upcoming schedule. Normally, I would say Monday night, ridiculously raw, but no. In case any of you haven't been watching our programs or have been living under a rock over the last few weeks or so. This Monday night, myself, good old MF Michael Fletcher, and Michael Bullock, we are going to be heading to the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island, because that is where Monday Night Raw will be emanating from this Monday night. And it's going to feature a Raw Women's Championship match between the man Becky Lynch and the EST Bianca Belair. And what we all agree is going to steal the damn show. And of course, the only other thing announced is what's next for Big E and Seth Rollins, because they're going to have a WWE Championship tilt down the road. I don't think we're going to get that because that would be spoiling us, but we'll see what happens. But so because of that, and because we're going to be out, because the show ends at 11, and we're probably going to be getting in around 11:30 midnight or so, and because of that, we will not be doing Ridiculously Raw on Monday night. Instead, for this week only, we're going to be pushing it back to Tuesday night. We're going to do it at 10:30, and it'll be a special Tuesday night edition of Ridiculously Raw. We've done that before, and we'll do it again here. So that'll be on Tuesday, and then Wednesday we got Wednesday Night Mayhem, hosted by good old MF Michael Fletcher, over on his channel BraceFan95, and that will be that'll of course be NXT 2.0 and AEW Dynamite. Thursday we have Week 10 of college football Thursday. And then Friday, we got the Cerebral Smack Talk, hosted by MF, Friday Night SmackDown, and AEW Rampage. And then next Saturday night, week number 9 of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday, with all those great games to get into. So that will do it. So until Tuesday night, for our special Tuesday night edition of Ridiculously Raw, this is Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, Michael Bullock, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Dee Woodson, and of course, always and forever, the man who put this all together in the first place, Yankee Messiah 401, Derek Ferrera. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up, Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed few days. And for all you trick-or-treaters out there, stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. And that will... with that being said, for everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.